I've been loving Season of Defiance. I love the activities, and I feel like the story is just amazing. Now, I gotta say, I enjoy the story way more than Lightfall story just because I feel like I know what's going on, and I think there's a lot more development there. Now, last week was huge in terms of the narrative, and it looks like this coming Tuesday will be the end of the narrative beat for the season. So it really does suck, as I don't think there's going to be any epilogue event, and usually the first season of the year doesn't have anything too crazy. But again, Season of Defiance has been overall amazing in terms of both the story and the activities given. We're probably going to get some master stuff, some little stuff with Guardian games later on in April and May, but it looks like after next week, Season of the Deep will be the next big story beat, launching May 23rd, 2023, after Guardian Games. The second season in the year is always really good to me. Season of the Chosen, which launched after Hunt, was great. Season of the Haunted was also great, much better than Season of the Risen, in my opinion. So hopefully the second season will continue on and improve a bit further. Now, we know throughout these next coming seasons, it's very critical for Bungie to go all out on them because, as some people have stated, that Lightfall has been sort of a disappointment to many. The seasons have to really go strong if players are going to stick around for the entire year. It's hard to keep players around for a whole year unless the seasons are really good. So hopefully that is the key. And remember, with Season of the Deep, after it's finished in August, that will be the reveal that Bungie will put out for the final shape and the future. So Bungie just has to get this next season really good so we can prepare to finally see what the final shape will be consisted of, and it will, give players hope for what the next expansion will bring. So we have to get through the end of Season of Defiance and Season of the Deep. But I'm going a bit all over the place. Let's get back to the topic of this video, which is, what is this leak going to be about? Now, remember, when we do leaks here on the channel, I want all of you to take it with a grain of salt, but time will tell. Now, Season of the Deep, this will be the second season of the year, as I just said, and this will be one of the seasons that will probably focus on one of the amazing enemy factions that you guys love all the time, the Hive. Now, if you didn't play the Witch Queen, there's going to be some things from that expansion that it's going to follow into Season of the Deep, and I think this leak will cover a lot of those aspects and more of a continuation of it, and hopefully we'll see the return of Savathun. But let's get into one of the first things with this leak, being that the Location Titan will return. Now, I can say from many sources in-game and from many accurate leakers, the Titan is confirmed at this point to be returning. To start off with in-game, we already have one source, being that the Winterbite Exotic Lave quest, at the very end, you would see on the dialogue vendor that Titan seems to be teased. The location, Titan, from back in the day before Beyond Light, and at the launch of Destiny 2 Vanilla, the place with basically all the Hive, and it was a swamp ocean type, location. Yes, we're talking about that place, would be returning, as it was teased. And with a lot of leakers, Destiny 2 leaks, a lot of leakers on Discord has already confirmed that the dungeon, yes, we are getting a dungeon next season, which will probably launch on the first week of Season of the Deep, will be on Titan. So it looks like that place is returning. If you want even more info on it, apparently from the Destiny 2 IMED, places where they talk about, voice actors for Lightfall, I can link you down the source. Apparently Sloan already has a voice actor again, apparently on the Lightfall page. So as you guys know, it looks like that Lightfall will be, its story will be continuing throughout all of year 6. So it doesn't look like it will be ending with that shitty ending that we got. Looks like these seasons will actually be continuing on that story, as we'll learn more about the Veil and we'll have more story beats going forward. So, as you know, as I just said, looks like that Season of the Deep will be a continuation and not something entirely different from what we actually just got. So, nice things on that front. Now, with the Location Titan return, you're probably wondering, okay, why do we need to go to Titan? Well, with the end of the Winterbite Exotic Lave quest, it apparently teased that there's an enemy of the Witness there. And throughout these next couple of seasons, we'll probably need to understand what the Veil is, and probably need some allies to help us against the Witness, and probably prevail in the end so we can, destroy and beat the Witness in the final shape. Now, with that, you would probably know, okay, who would help us on a ocean type hive location? Well, guess what? It looks like the Leviathan will be making a return. Now, if you don't know, back with the Witch Queen, we learn the real story to the hive, or I would say the birth of the hive. Now, but when they were on their planet Fundament all the way back on centuries ago, they were called the Krill. And when they were called the Krill, they basically were very weak beings. They were on their planet Fundament, and they didn't know really what to do to, become strong and, survive, because apparently they would just die off. I don't want to butcher everything in this story, but basically they were not a powerful race. That's what I want you to get at. And what happened is that Savathun was spoken to by her worm and brought her siblings Zedorath and Oryx to the depths of the planet Fundament. And when they were down there, they saw the worm gods, and basically the worm gods made a deal with them saying, okay, we're going to give you a worm to your entire race, and all you have to do is that if you go and kill things, you will make this worm stronger and you will get strength and you won't be weak anymore. However, you have to keep on killing things. And I just want to point out that is a horrible deal. I can't believe they actually fell for that, because what happens if they actually destroyed everything in the universe? They wouldn't have anything to, of course, feed the worms on, and hence they would just die. It's kind of a little bit of a stupid thing, but you never know how big the universe actually is until you go out and you probably see that it's going to take on years and years and years to actually kill everything. So apparently, again, it wasn't a bad deal on that front. When they were down there, and when Savathun, of course, was down there, and they took the deal and they eventually became the hive and they rose up and yay, everybody, they met a creature called the Leviathan that basically said, okay, guys, Savathun's either Orcs, don't go down into the depths. Don't go meet the worm gods. Don't do that. Don't do that. Of course, he didn't say the worm gods. He just said, don't go to the depths of your planet. You'll regret it. All that type of stuff. And I think Savathun, actually found out later on that, yeah, the Leviathan was right, I feel like. I think the Leviathan was a creature that was actually, not a bad guy. I think he was a cool guy. And basically, with the exotic Winterbite quest, it teased that an enemy of the Witness was on Titan. And if Titan is already confirmed at this point to come back from, again, many leaks and from the story's standfront, it looks like that the Leviathan creature will be coming back and maybe will become an ally to us and try to help us into maybe, getting and beating the Witness. Getting to where the Witness went and beating the Witness. So there's stuff there. Now, apparently, the 9 will be involved with the story. There are 5 good and 4 bad members of the 9. Now, I don't want to be the guy, being the lore guy, because I am not a lore guy at all. I love the lore, but I'm not a lore guy because I can't explain any of it. And when it comes to the 9, it's a bit difficult, as I know them as being cosmic beings in the unknown space and time, and I think you probably should just keep it at that. If you want to really know a lot more about the 9, you probably should go and watch a video on actually what they are from Bife and Mylan, because I'm not the guy for that. And they have been heavily involved in the story when it comes to the Drifter, Eris, when it comes to Mara. They have been in the story from the very back of the day. And you don't really know exactly what they are until you probably study them. So, yeah. And before Trials of Osiris actually existed, we did get Trials of the 9, and they were basically the same thing from Trials of Osiris, but just, in the unknown space of time of the universe, all that type of stuff. Apparently, so it's a bit hard to explain, but just think of them as cosmic beings that are apparently made out of dark matter. Now, apparently 5 of them are good and 4 of them are bad. 5 of them actually want to help us, 4 of them don't. And that's just how it is. That's why they're called the 9. 5 plus 4 equals 9. If you got that, put a like, put a comment, tell me that you got that. Now, the 4 bad members are the creators of the Veil, a bridge between light and dark as they seek the final shape. Now, that's kind of a little bit of a new thing that we don't know about, because I don't think it was actually told to us that the 9 were the creators of the Veil, or at least the 4 bad ones. So this could be a major story implication if it's confirmed later on in the season or in Season of the Deep. Now, we don't know what the Veil is, so don't ask me what it is, because I don't know what it is. Now, there are multiple veils, one of which is behind Drifter's ship and was gifted to him by the 9. Now, we saw in Season of the Drifter back in year 2 that the Drifter was apparently, involved with talking to the Nine, and apparently, there you go. As I just said, they were gifted. He was gifted apparently a veil thing behind his Drifter ship, which could probably be one of the reasons why Gambit, exists. Apparently, when it comes to the story front. Now, the good members have helped us and wants us to seek out the Leviathan on Titan, a worm that serves the Traveler. As I just said, the worm on the planet Fundament that was trying to warn about the Krill not going down to the depths of the universe to, of course, interact with the worm gods and, of course, bring them into the race they are today. Apparently, he's on the good side, serves with the Traveler, so it would make perfect sense to be allies with it to help us defeat the Witness. Now, it looks like Savathun seeked out the Leviathan for redemption after the Witness lured the Hive, which is an explanation for her actions during the collapse. Makes sense. The Leviathan is the key to finding Savathun, which is where the story is heading. Now, this could be a little bit of a point that I don't think entirely is true, as it's not entirely correct, because the Leviathan is the key to finding Savathun. We already know that Savathun's dead, so I don't know why I would say this in the leak. This is where I was going to get a bit, iffy, because if it was that, then maybe it's trying to tell us that Savathun is one of the keys to help us defeat the Witness, to resurrect it. It's not more we need to find Savathun, because we know that the body has been, in our possession, I think in the Vanguard or something. So basically, we have Savathun's body. We know that MRO is in the Throne World. We just know that. We don't really need to head to find Savathun, more like maybe a reason to maybe resurrect her. I don't know. Something about that. I feel the Titan really needs to go out and say, okay, guys, Savathun's actually a good guy. And I don't know really how you would, say. A lot of people think we are going to be allies with Savathun, which I would love. But I don't think the Vanguard's going to go for that. No one's going to go for that unless she actually deliberately, helps us in the end. And apparently she was trying to, because she wanted to save the Traveler from the Witness all along. And I think that was what the whole Witch Queen campaign was about. Trapping the Traveler in her, Throne World to keep it safe from the Witness. She had a plan. We didn't. And that's how we probably lost, because we didn't know really what to do. So she probably has more backstory with the Traveler, and maybe the Leviathan in Season of the Deep is trying to say, okay, go and get Savathun back. We're going to need her. So hopefully it's more on that front. The seasonal activity consists of a 3-man mission on Mars, the Throne World, and Titan. Makes sense for me. There's also a 6-man made activity, which we fend off Zitho's Arath's forces. We hear Zitho's voice for the first time, and a Worm God cutscene with Zitho. Now, I can definitely say that this looks like to be 100% confirmed at this point, because with the Lightfall voice acting website down below, if you want to click on it and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see that there's actually a voice actor for Zitho Arath. Woohoo, let's go. Because if you didn't know, we have been teasing Zitho Arath for years now, technically centuries at this point, because back in the Taken King, we actually were, of course, hinted with her name, but we haven't seen her in any, cinematic. Yes, we saw her with one cutscene in Witch Queen, but we haven't seen what she actually looks like. This basically confirms that, finally. So, hopefully, this leak comes true on that front. As we know, there's a voice actor apparently listed for Savathun now, so hopefully we will get the voice of her, and we will get a cutscene with her. So she's basically the big bad, finally. Now, apparently the Will of Thousand Strike returns. If you're interested in this was one of the strikes on Mars. Dungeon is a 9 Taken theme, which I could see being confirmed, as has been weapons that have been leaked to be taken for the next season, so that's great. Not similar to Prophecy, however. That is definitely, hinted in this. He even says it, that it's not similar to Prophecy, so don't expect that. I feel like dungeons have to be different in their own way, and they have to have some sort of theme. I think it's good to split up the theme of these dungeons going forward. I want more of a hive, going down into the depths type of, dungeon. I don't want to be too similar to Pit of Heresy, but I don't want it to be similar to the Prophecy dungeon. And it's hard to get in the middle, of those two dungeons, but I think that's what Bungie's trying to do. Now, Dungeon Armor is the taken version of the original D2 armor. Ooh, that's interesting. Dungeon Boss is a larger worm god than Zol. Very interesting there. First encounter is a Hive Horde encounter. That's pretty cool. Seasonal armor looks similar to Trials of the Nine and the Emissary. And Taken Reckoning weapons return. 2 of them will drop like Haunted and Seraph, which is already likely to confirm, as we know that we're probably going to get some Reckoning weapons with that one of the recent leaks that we got in from another leak source. So that really wraps a lot of that stuff up with this leak. Now, from a standpoint from me, I would say that this looks very interesting. There's a lot of things that in this leak I have probably going to say that will happen. Titan will return, Worm will be featured in this story, and I think that is probably a definite. Leviathan looks like to heavily be focused in this season, which looks very likely. Zeethorath having a voice, very likely, and a lot of those things. So I could say that this season looks very good from the lore implications. Let's just hope it features on that. We also know, again, if you didn't know, that we are going to get a quest to learn more about the Veil that will be different from the events of Season of the Deep confirmed by Bungie. So we'll have more info on the Veil this season as well. So we'll have probably a continuation on the Veil, and we'll have seasons that will have different events that we're going to have to deal with going into the future. So it's pretty cool on that front. But yeah, that usually wraps up the video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.